Innovative content. Global audience.
Sunny day here in the Federal Capital Territory, and we're reaching you live from our SRO TV studio here in Abuja. This is Wake Up Nigeria, and I'm Princess KESSY. I have with me on the show today
Patience OKOSUN.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
How was your night?
Just fine.
So this morning, we have a lot of trending issues. One that caught my attention this morning, viewers, is that they are saying the Labour Party is alleging that Peter Obi is under pressure to leave the country. So many threats here and there. Of course, we know that some of these things comes after elections. It's politics, but his own case, I don't know why we're having a lot of issues, and most of the headlines since yesterday, as we've seen, and of course today, have been emphasizing on these same issues. So I don't know whether or not politics. That is why maybe I say I don't love politics. I don't like politics. Anything that has to do with politics, I feel like it's risky. I feel like there's so much that comes with it. Not just the power, not just the influence, but a lot of pressure also comes with politics. And I really do feel for him.
That would be right.
Yes, I do feel for him. And then we have Obasanjo also this morning has been appealing with the.
I think when I heard that, I was, it's fine. At
it's
least
quite
they
trending.
should tamper justice with mercy on that.
It's right, but of course, you know, another thing is that our laws here, the way we do things, are not the same way they do things over there, and that's why I feel like maybe it might be difficult for them.
You just have to face the law. Is it? Oh, I think I read in the news if they could drag their former president, Trump, I think.
These people can anybody. You are nobody does above the law. So, quickly this morning, we're going to move to the newspaper reviews this morning. These are some of the stories that are making waves this morning. We have here organ harvesting, show mercy on Ikwere matters. Obasanjo, I beg your pardon, Obasanjo begs UK courts. The writer says I cherish lawmakers' God-fearing approach to national issues, urges magnanimity of UK government, bilateral relationship. All these stories are on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says on page 18 of the Blueprint newspaper, Easter, federal government declares Friday, Monday public holidays. We also have here that NCDC deploys 30,000 personnel for hitch-free festivity. FRSC okays 1,042 vehicles, 144 motorbikes. All these are coming on the heat of the Easter celebration just a few days ahead. And all these stories can be seen on page 18 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper, stock market loses 554 billion naira. We have a story here as well that says RFI restates 1,288 sacked primary school teachers. That story is on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. We'll have as well here oil subsidy. Federal government gets $800 million grant from World Bank for palliatives. And the writer says NSIP fund ready for disbursement. This is coming from the finance minister this morning. We also have a story here that says Amuka tax nine-man Ombudsman Media Commission on professionalism. That story is on page 18 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have here as well APC crisis. National Working Committee set up 5-man investigation reconciliation panel. That story is on page 16 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says IPC MRA slam NBC over imposition of 5 million naira fine on Channels TV. That story is on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper. These are some of the stories, headlines making waves on the Blueprint this morning. We can see here I have a story that actually caught my attention. We have, of course, Basanjo is begging the UK court to show mercy. Yes, it's pity. I just feel so sorry for them. Why it's that sometimes politicians actually deserve things like this, especially when you have been in power for years, things you're supposed to put in place, and now you fall into this kind of issue. But now the wife is being held, the man is being held, and then they have a sick child. That is where,
That's the main
yes. So I think we are
feeling
feeling also they should let one of them go, and one of them will have to bear the brunt for the
yes,
other. And then, well, I also have a story here that says federal government declares Friday, Monday public holiday, and NSCDC deploys personnel for hitch-free festivity. That is a good one because we have a lot of travelers this period. People are traveling for Easter, so some of these things we make the people's movements activities go stress free. And then there's a particular story here also that LFI reinstates 1,288 sack. I knew when he sacked them, and then Labour actually did a protest as regards to this. It was so messy. Labour went to Kaduna, shut down. Even from Abuja, here they went there. They did a lot of protests, and he's now bringing them back. But we hope also because then he said that most of these people were not qualified to be teaching others. So we do hope that they've done their screening, and of course they've removed the wolves from the sheep, or how do you call it, so that we have people that are supposed to be teaching, not just the main teachers, but what people that have things to impact, of course, on the pupils. That's what we have this morning from the Blueprint newspaper.
And so this morning from the Punch newspaper, the major headline says, New House leadership, opposition reps elect plot to upstage APC. And then the writer here says, opposition reps elect meet form greater majority bloc to tackle APC. Group warns members against APC infiltration, target key House opposition. Be warned, 2015, I beg your pardon, 2015 Saiki Dogara actions won't be allowed, APC tells Rep elect. You'll find that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And then we also have federal government borrows $800 million for mass transit cash transfers. You'll find that on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Fresh promising notes raising national debt. Fresh promising notes raising national debt, says the DMO. You also find that story on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. And then Coronado, Obasanjo begs UK court for lamenting. Obasanjo begs UK court for lamenting. And then we also have Bitcoin's platform with 1.5 million naira Nigeria users shut down. You find that story on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. Okada riders on the rampage kill cop, injure DPO. You find that story on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And then we also have Lagos Ibadan Expressway ready April 30. Drainage delays Oyo section, says federal government. You find that story on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. Those are the news making waves this morning on the Punch newspaper.
And I saw a story here that really caught my attention. Bitcoin platform with 1.5 million Nigerian users shut down. That is not a good one at all. I know a lot of people, a lot of youths. In fact, these days you see that we keep emphasizing on the youths because we are more concerned about the youths. Of course, they are the leaders. They should be the leaders now and the future. And then a lot of them over the years have prior to now, a lot of people are investing in Bitcoin. And a lot of people also have been benefiting from this Bitcoin. I know a lot of guys, a lot of young people that is what they did on, and shutting down that platform is going to cause major I don't know, heartache to these people that have already invested. And also we also have a story here that says Okada riders on rampage kill cop, I think the security agency should tackle that issue immediately. So we move on to the next newspaper this morning, and that will be the Daily Trust. These are some of the stories we have this morning making waves here. We have National Assembly leadership scheming as 16 aspirants push for zoning open contest. And the rider says as Southern lawmakers want a Senate presidency zoned to region. Allow us to choose our presiding officers, Ndume says. And another writer here says, I'm ready to sacrifice my ambition for Southern Christians. This is coming from Musa this morning. We also have another one here that says no special committee on zoning APC. Now all the stories are on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We'll have a story here as well that says selfishness caused APC's defeat in Kano. This is coming from Adamu, and that story is on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says NNPC failed to account for 102 billion naira oil delivering to refineries. A report says, and that story is on page 25 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here also that says 1.1 billion naira for each varsity as Buhari approves 320 billion intervention funds. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says HIV/AIDS. Federal government prohibits discrimination at workplace. That story is on page 25 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Kogi attacks. 10 people killed, 50 houses razed. Witness. That story is on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says also federal government slams Westerner nations for funding IPOB. That story is on page 25 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says subsidy removal. FG secures $800 million World Bank loan for palliatives. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have this morning making waves here. And I actually saw a story that caught my attention. A lot of stories here. First, I'm going to talk about the 1.1 billion for each varsity. Buhari approves to 320 billion intervention funds. In fact, I have a guest later on today that will be discussing on these issues as regarding the educational system we have here in the country. And as well, I just hope that money will be used judiciously. We know the kind of country we live in. And then we have a story here. This is so touching. HIV/AIDS. Federal government prohibits discrimination. These people, HIV is not actually a death sentence. So don't treat them as though they are not human beings. Just live peacefully with them. They are not supposed, not like when they touch something.
Drugs that can keep it under control.
It's not a death sentence. They live the normal life you live, especially when they're on their medication. So they live healthy life as well. Because I've seen a lot of them. I've been opportune to work as a media person in a very big hospital, and I know a lot of them. So they are not people that when they come close to you, you run away. That is a discrimination that must stop.
That's the problem. The problem is the stigma.
Yes. They're human being. They need to work as well, make ends meet. So don't do that to them. And then we have another story here. This is really sad that Kogi attacks, 10 people killed, 50 houses razed. Oh, this is really a sad one. One day or the other, we keep saying this issue of attacks, hitmen and all that is sad. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we'll have.
The next newspaper is The Nation. On The Nation, the news making headline here is Soyinka to Tinubu, make power devolution priority. That's Soyinka talking to Tinubu. And then the writer here says, I warned Peter Obi that his supporters will make him lose the election. You find that story on The Nation newspaper. And then we also have 50 million Nigerians to share World Bank $80 million as petrol subsidy palliative. 50 million Nigerians to share World Bank $80 million as petrol subsidy palliatives. And then we also have Obasanjo writes UK courts over Ekweremadu. You find that on page 8 of the Nation newspaper. And then APC moves to reconcile Adamu Omiso with Lukman. You find that on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And then we also have 27 million naira recovered from accident scene in Osun. You find that on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Trump denounces felony charges against him. And then we also have, I'm sad to leave Nigeria, says British High Commissioner. You find that story on page 8 of the Nation newspaper. And court suspends LP National Chair, Secretary, and others. Finally, on the Nation newspaper this morning, Okada riders kill policeman in Lagos attack. And on Friday, Mondays are holidays. And then finally, we have stop harboring HIPOP members. Federal government tells EU countries.
Wow, very interesting.
Quite
There is a story
interesting.
here I saw also. This borrowing of federal government. I really do hope one day they are not going to carry all of us out of the country or come and hold us up. Because we are the youth, they are leaving it for us. It is rising, it's increasing on a daily basis. And then we also have a story here that says that I am sad to leave Nigeria, says British High Commissioner. Wow.
In as much as we have a lot of bad things going on.
I mean, as much as we are winning, people are just planning to run away. Somebody is saying, wow, that's quite interesting. That means there must be something in the country. Like, but on a serious note, we have a lot. We have a lot. Nigeria is the countries. It's just that we don't have much of good leaders, but that is why she will be saying this. That means they've actually lived here, they lived in peace, and of course, they carried out their mission here successfully. That's a very good one, also coming from the British High Commissioner. And then we have a story here as well that says court suspends Labour National Chair, Secretary orders leaders battling forgery case. Now, this story, that is why I say before now. Sometimes when I do shows with the CEO, I used to say that anything politics, I don't used to trust these people. Now people have been painting Labour Party as though they are everything that has to do with the Labour Party is their saints, they are unstained, they cannot have issues like the other parties. And now we've been seeing lately this crisis here and there also within that party is really sad. We move on quickly now to the next newspaper. We have this, that is This Day newspaper. And the headline here says, fuel subsidy removal. Federal government secures $800 million World Bank facility for palliatives to be disbursed to 15 million Nigerians. Discussion on with incoming government on modalities to phase out policy. That is the major headline here on This Day newspaper. That story is on page 10. And then we'll have another story here that says Peter Obi under pressure to leave Nigeria, says Labour Party. That story is on page 35 of This Day newspaper. We have as well says he is acting. Soyinka says that is court's comments facetic, menacing, unacceptable. Says he's acting like Trump with do or die provocation. Another story here also say declare his position as an intimidation of judiciary. All these stories are on page 10 of This Day newspaper, and that is coming from Soyinka this morning. We also have a story here as well that says Ariwa accuses National Broadcasting Commission for promoting fascism. That story is on page 10 as well of the paper. We have a story here as well that says organ harvesting Obasanjo pleads for clemency for Ikwere Madu and wife. That story is on page 10 as well of this day newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have this morning here. I saw a story here that I talked about it earlier. Now, Peter Obi is under pressure to leave the country. So, do you think, Pat? Let me ask you sincerely. Do you think, with this kind of pressure, issues arising from this election, and now Peter Obi, people see him as somebody with no structure. He's just a neutral person, even though he was one-time governor, but he's neutral compared to other politicians. Now, do you think this will even, maybe next election, don't you think this would discourage a lot of people from contesting? Because they feel like, after all, if I go, whether I win or not, pressures will come, issues will come, and then maybe the person's life won't even
Well, I already it has discouraged a lot of youths right from the day they announced the president-elect. I think I saw people breaking already destroying their PVC, saying votes don't count and this will be their last. And of course, a lot of people had high hopes. People came out in mass to vote, and after the election, there's still a lot of issues on ground, and it's really not helpful for our country and as youths in the country because a lot is going on. So I feel, from my own personal opinion, I think the youth should just calm down. Allow the court cases are in court already. Allow the courts to.
But now this is actually coming from the labor leaders this morning. That Peter will be under pressure to leave the country. Does this mean that when you come out and you try to go into an office or to do something, and then at the end of the day, these are some of the things that actually comes with politics. So I used to tell people, politics is not for the faint-hearted.
You need to be strong.
Yes,
you are not.
And this is something. The way they play politics here in Nigeria, I bet that's what is discouraging a lot of youth. Because if you think about your future and about some very old people or some people that are so hungry, the quest for power, and not willing to let go, you wouldn't want to come and be having issues with such people or be in the same front burner with them. Because who knows? We really do hope that he's safe anyway.
I must recommend Peter Obi, and I hope he stays strong. He will pass through all this.
Anyway, we leave that for the security agencies to handle, and of course, we hope he's safe as well. So we move on quickly this morning to the next newspaper.
We have the Daily Asset, and the major news here says House Speaker, opposition parties forge alliance to checkmate APC. The writer says PDP, LP, NNPP, ABGA, others establish majority. You find the story on Daily Assets. And then we also have federal government declares Monday, Friday public holiday for Easter. You find that story on page 5 of the newspaper. And then leadership tissue, security seals Plateau Assembly Complex. You find that story on page 10. Buhari approves 320 billion naira intervention for public tertiary institutions. I think that's a nice one. You find that on page 4 of the newspaper. FRSC deploys 1,042 operational vehicles, ambulance for Easter. Kaduna reinstates 1,288 sacked primary school teachers. You find that on page 7 of Daily Assets newspaper. And we also have FEC approves 392.786 billion naira for works, customs, and others. And then the writer says Buhari seeks Senate approval of 10.4 billion naira for Plateau Borno Road. And then we also have Benue in intensive care units, says earlier. Benue in intensive care units earlier. And then finally on the Daily Asset newspaper this morning, we have total capital importation rises to $160.73 million in fourth quarter of 2022. And those are the stories making waves on daily assets this morning. And then I think I like the fact which you stated earlier, that the fact that Buhari opposed 320 billion naira for public tertiary institutions. I think it will go a long way, especially I think they should put an oversight function. People that will see that this money are being used for the right purposes. There are so many things that
That is the only thing. That is the question on the ground today. Will the money be used judiciously? Not just they've been releasing money, they've been approving, they've been disbursing, but at the end of the day, will this money be used for the right cause? These are the questions today. And then we move quickly to the next newspaper we have here. This is the Nigerian pilot, and these are some of the stories we have this morning. The headline says treason allegation, Obi Dati exposed to assassination. That is the main headlines we have here this morning, and the writer says group accuses FG of exposing Obi Dati orders to assassination via treason alarm. And we also have here says article, other democracy activists' rights may be breached through unlawful arrest, detention. Another writer here says warns that nothing must happen to Obi Dati Atiku, other civil society activists. And then we have the last writer here that says please that they must be protected at all times by security operatives. All these stories are on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here that says more crisis for LP as court sacks chairman, secretary, orders. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here that says subsidy remover, FG gets $800 million World Bank loan for palliatives. That story is on page 9 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here that says Bastanger writes clerk of UK court pleads for the Equerry murders. That story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says Easter, federal government declares Friday, Monday public holidays. That story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here that says Plateau House of Assembly sealed over speakership crisis. That story is on page 7 of the Nigerian newspaper. These are some, and then we have a story here that says Buhari inaugurates National Council for Digital Innovation Entrepreneurship. That story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. These are some of the stories we have making waves this morning. And federal government also FEC approves 15.3 billion for census ICT digital devices as custom gets 17 billion for additional barracks. The stories are on page 6 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. And then we also this story here that says federal government declared public holiday. Good things for civil servants.
Good thing.
And a lot of people also traveling as well,
Yes,
so it's good for them.
Yeah,
A lot of people actually going for the Easter.
it's a good one.
Yes, and then we just really do hope also that the UK courts we have tempered justice
With
with
mercy.
mercy as well, because a
restoring
child,
habits.
their child is actually involved and she's
Yeah.
critically ill
Yeah.
as we speak. These are the headlines we have this morning from the newspaper review. We'll go on a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we return, I'll be coming back with a guest who's we're going to digest some of these issues we just raised. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of arts, national cash crops, financial products and services, and real estate. For huge extra opportunity in diaspora, look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15 to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 28.
Ladies, are you ready to shine? Here's a golden opportunity for you to show the world the queen in you, as the second edition of Face of SRTV Ladies Edition is about to begin. What are you waiting for? Register online with just 500 naira and stand a chance of winning a cash prize of 100,000 naira and the deal of becoming our ambassador. There will also be consolation prizes for second and third place winners. To register, kindly pay the registration fee and send your name, age, picture, and state of origin to this number 0906 895 2170. For more inquiries, please call 0907 400 7816. Powered by SRTV London, the face of SRTV. Who takes the crown?
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of arts, national cash crops, financial products and services, and real estate. For huge extra opportunity in diaspora, look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15 to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week, celebrating the best of Nigeria from the rest.
Hello, welcome back, viewers, from that short break. Before that break, I promised I was going to go and come back with a guest this morning. I have with me already here in the studio via call, Commander Bimaku Monday. He is a research fellow and public commentator, or PhD research fellow. How are you doing, Mr. Monday? You're welcome to the show. Hello, good morning. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, good morning.
You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
I am good.
Yeah, so quickly, sir, we're going to move on with some of the issues we have bordering on the nation and everyone this morning. Just before we go, I know as a lecturer, we're going to come to the educational sector, of course, to discuss some of the issues bordering on that sector. But now, what's your take? The ex-president Obasanjo actually wrote asking the UK government to pardon the convicted Senator Ekweremadu Madu. Now, what's your take on that issue? It's quite trending this morning.
Yeah, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the person of Olusegun Obasanjo is a statesman, and I see his letter as the right step to take as a statesman.
Okay.
Because as a statesman, once you're done with your tenure or leadership, you don't allow things go down like that, especially when it happens
really?
in your own country. Hello?
What if these people are guilty of this said crime?
We are not saying that they are not guilty. Of course, the matter has been already declared, but on the ground, on a compassionate ground, on the ground of the friendship, the ties that Nigeria and UK have enjoyed for long, they could look at the matter with an eye of understanding. So it is not wrong for him to propose that or to request that.
Okay.
Or appeal for that. Yes. So it is left for that the UK court or the government to look into the matter and to reconsider if they would.
If there's a way they can just, I understand. But we're going to move away from that issue now. Now, what's your take? Now, let's come to your field. As an academia, of course, I know you're a lecturer as well. Now, what's your take on the low funding on the education sector by a federal government? There's a news this morning headline, but before I read out that headline, I want you to talk on this. The educational system, the sector here, I don't know what's going on. We have a lot of pending issues still on the table, unresolved. Now, what do we do when it comes to the funding?
When it comes to the funding, truly
Yes, sir.
the educational sector is being poorly funded as far as Nigeria is concerned. Sincerely, the government of the day, and when we refer to government is continuous. It must not be the government of President Muhammadu Buhari alone. Once an agreement has been signed, with both parties involved, the federal government and the ASU, then the federal government should keep to its own part.
Yes, I'm thinking these are some of the issues. They don't build on policies. When a new government comes, they destroy every other policies and they bring in their own policies. You think that this is the problem as regarding the low funding when it comes to the educational sector?
Yeah, of course. That's why I'm trying to take the issue from the angle of the ASU and the federal government, because ASU itself is the people going through all that the university system is being faced with. So they know better those things or those policies that government should use or should work on to enhance the funding of the tertiary institutions or the universities. Now, the federal government ought to understand that funding is one of the things that will keep the university system going. It's a grease to the wheel of the educational sector. Without proper funding, the university system or the educational sector will be in comatose. Like what we have today, you will see that a lot of people graduate and they are unable to defend what they have gone there to study.
That is right.
There are breaks in between, unnecessary breaks, like strikes coming in. So a lot of students will return back to campus and not know where they stopped.
Where they are coming from.
So I thought there's a detachment, in between. Imagine that the students stayed at home for about 8 months.
Just sometimes even a year. And so, how do you think these people are going to improve in what they're studying?
Yeah, that is the issue. So the federal government should understand that part and do its own part. All that the university system or the educational system in Nigeria is asking for is proper funding. Now, the amount of money that has been released, this morning on the news, based on what we write on the news.
That's right.
Billion per university.
Yes, I was gonna even bring in that. That is why I told you one of the headlines.
So before you ask him that question, sir, I would like you to explain more better. Is there not any other way these issues can be resolved between the schools and ASU or the federal government without affecting the students coming to for their lectures away from the classrooms? Yeah.
The whole issue boils down to funding, which is the key issue that we are talking about this morning. The federal government, supposing, let me use this analogy. You have a wife, and she knows how to cook. And she just brought a list of items that she needs to prepare the food or the soup. Now, you as the husband, you collected the list, went through, and you approved and you said, I am okay with it. What should you do next is to give her to release the money. So, even if you are not going to release the money at once, you should be able to negotiate with her as to how you'll be able to release this money
gradually
as time goes on. The amount of money, back to the issue now, the amount of money that has been released based on what we read on news clearly shows that the federal government has not really shown so much commitment.
But this money is much. If you ask me, Mr. Comrade, this money is actually much. 320 billion is what we're talking about.
Now divided by university.
Okay, for each we have okay. Let me read out that headlines for you, Mr. Monday. It says 1.1 billion for each varsity as Buhari approves 320 billion intervention funds. That means it's 1.1 billion.
Yeah. So if it is 1.1 billion, then I ask you, what the issues that are lying there in the university, do you think that this money can resolve half of it?
But at least it will go some way.
You said?
At least it will go maybe a long way here and there for some pending issues as well. What do you think?
Okay. Let me say that of course it is an intention. The release of this money shows an intention towards doing the right thing, but it is not doing the right thing. I mean, in its entirety. Like you said, what if this money later, the other tranche, because the monies are going to come in tranches, from what I understand from that news. Now, what if the next tranche doesn't come? What if it doesn't? And then, what if some projects are started halfway and are not completed, and the other tranche doesn't come? So, I think that the federal government need to do more. Yes, it has tried to have made this move, but it should do better.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. What is the current situation between the federal government and ASU? Is there any possibility that they will be going on strike anytime soon? What's the current situation like now, sir?
You know, issues that have to do with strike is not a question of an individual or a single institution. Okay. ASU would vote, at various universities, then come up with that. But as it is, ASU have decided that the students should have at least a better time to link up or to meet up with some of the academic sessions.
Because because as we see, they are far way behind. We are still trying to recover from the last ASU strike we had. And then going on another strike will not be a good thing at all. As a lecturer now, what's your take on this?
My take is that the federal government should revisit all those issues genuinely and truthfully. You see, most times those working with Mr. President would say that we have done this. And then the national leadership of ASU, didn't see that as part of the agreement or as part of the meeting that was just concluded. So when they come out, they address the press, they say, we have done this, we have done that, we have done that. But at the end of the day, when you check, the issues are still there. So they should come with sincerity of heart.
No, how do you think, on a sincere note, Mr. Monday, how do you think that once and for all, these issues bordering on around the federal government, ASU, these issues have been there for God knows how long? How do you think they can be resolved once and for all?
The EAAs should be paid. A revitalization fund should be released. The university system should have, UTAS should be approved for the university payment of salaries so that they can we know what happens to their salary. The reason why ASU is disagreeing with the IBPIS is the issue of, dichotomies or discrepancies that come from here and there in terms of the salary, in terms of promotions and all that. So let me take you briefly to Taraba State University. In Taraba State University, you could see that they are on strike currently.
Okay.
Hope you are aware of that issue. So, in Taraba State University, the issue that is in contention there is the end academic allowance, the promotion arrears, and then the only things were not paid, and then fractional payment of salary. That is the worst of it. Somebody is working and you are paying him a fraction. Today you give him 2 naira, tomorrow you give him 3 naira. And you want him to, this is someone who impacts on people. This is, the educational system is the life wire, is the backbone of the society.
That's right.
The country to take, you need a sound education. So, the federal government or the state government should look into matters like that and not behave differently. They should respect the fact that these people are researchers. They take their time to do all this, and they don't have any other job they do aside this, which the law may not even allow it. So they should know that these people truly deserve to be treated well. They are not animals.
That is
they
right.
have been able to invest time to develop themselves to the level where they are accepted or acceptable in the academia. So what that means is that all that has to do with them should be clear, including salaries that comes monthly.
Yes.
You don't want to pay constantly or consistently. And you are a government. What if it's a private sector or a private educational institution that is doing this? What would you say? So as a father, you must stand up in your responsibility. I call the government the father. They must stand up and rise to the occasion to ensure that the educational system of this country is refurbished, is revitalized, is restored for good. It is not about you taking your children abroad or to private universities. Of course, we know if you have what it takes, you could go to abroad or the private universities. But it's not by killing the system that has been set up by government and then, investing in others, which are just a sub agents of of education in the country. So look at why do we now have so many private universities across, including those that operate under one roof? Why?
That is, I'm also against that, Mr. Monday. Like for instance, when you go to my state, you see a state having over 6 polytechnics, and they are all underdeveloped. So why not channel that energy into one standard institution for the people? That these are the issues. Yes.
And then to conclude that part, the amount of money that is being approved for the polytechnic, the polytechnic is supposed to be a technical education, right?
That's right.
If machines are to be purchased, do you think for a polytechnic 600 million would be enough to purchase all the other machines or to fix the ones that are grounded?
I don't think so.
So that is why I said it is an effort, yes, in the right direction. But then more should be done. More should be done. And it should keep to all the agreement. Then I assure you that ASU will not turn the other way. Because they are parents, they are people's parents, they are people's uncle, and these people we're referring to are also students.
That's right. A lot of, yes.
They have all that approach, and they are also students. So they wouldn't want to see their work running about the street.
And would you say, because a lot of people sometimes accuse lecturers of collecting money for handouts and all these things they do with students in school. Now, do you say these are low funding when it comes to the educational sector, and of course these issues of salary is the major cause of this when we talk about some schools involved in this kind of practices?
When you talk about handout sales and all that, the truth is that a lecturer is meant to prepare his notes, after preparing your notes, you go to class, deliver lectures. So I do not see that happening, although I am not saying that I am saying exclusively that everybody who teaches in the academic environment will have the same principle.
That's
Everybody
right.
has his own principle. But there are certain laws or regulations that guide the university. And these laws are there. So, and there are, for instance, in National Teaching University, there's a slogan that was launched by the Vice Chancellor, who is currently there, that when you see something, say something. I think that is a replica of one of, of the national government. So now, with that, it means that students are will or at liberty to report any of such when they see it. So, but I don't want to justify the fact that somebody is collecting handout money as a result of, or because he is not being paid. What is wrong, and what is right is right.
I love that.
The students are the ones even calling for this.
Okay.
But as someone who knows what you're doing, because these days you find out that students have become more lazy than those days. These days, with Google and everything, students will still want to be spoon-fed. You go to class, you teach them, you expect that they understand. They'll tell you, we understand. Give them 1 hour and come back. Minister test. You will see the outcome. So
what do we do, Mr. Monday? Because as a lecturer, you are in the system, you are there, you know what it's going on right inside the system. Well, you said something now. You ask students, do you understand my teachings? They said yes, and in the next 1 hour you administer tests, and then you see the results. So what can be done? The students, do you think they are being nonchalant, unserious because of the issues surrounding the system as well? Because if I'm going to school and today we have strike, tomorrow strike, next tomorrow issues, I won't even take that school serious as well.
I think it's not a question of, actually that might be a problem. It is a challenge actually. The striking issues is a challenge, a serious one. It could bring about fatigue, in the mind of the student. But however, the student should not justify his being lazy with the fact that all these issues are there. All of us know that these issues are there. We are not saying that all the students are like that, but a good number of students will behave that way. And that statistics, you can take it not just in the in the government university. Private universities also have the same issues. You begin to see that these are people who went to good primary school, good secondary school, but at the end of the day, you find out that their performances too does not really reflect that. So I think that there's a problem, with the issue of seriousness,
on the part of the students.
On the part of the students, there's need for reorientation, and then there's a need also to look at education at the primary and the secondary level. How do we enhance those levels? Because they are the levels that feed the universities with students. So if these students are not given proper
orientations, yes,
proper, things that will guide them to take their education seriously. You now hear in music and all that, some saying that school has come. So when you look at that, things like that also now make a lot of students not to take their education seriously. Look at elsewhere to make money. And you see, the youth of nowadays or of today are always looking at they are being trapped by what we call the quick money making syndrome. You understand? Lots of them, they just want to make money. They don't believe that once they make money, that is all.
Or once they come out of the school, money will start coming in. They don't know you have to go through a process. Life is a process.
So these are the things distracting them from their studies. Instead of focusing on what will build a nation, they are looking at themselves. How do I make money while studying. They don't have patience to wait for the right time. So not waiting for the right time and then involving yourself in one thing or the other, whether as a social vice or vices or whatever, you are already impeding the process of learning. Because learning has to.
All right, Mr. Monday, we'll go on a quick break. Hold that thought, and when we return, we'll continue with that discussion. Don't go anywhere, viewers. Stay with us.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of arts, national cash crops, financial product and services, and real estate for huge extra opportunity in diaspora. Look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and hosts of others will be in attendance. Date 15th to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week, celebrating the best of Nigeria from the rest.
Back, viewers, from that quick break. I'm still on the line with Mr. Monday. He's actually a PhD research fellow, Nasarawa State University, KESSY. As a lecturer, of course, he's also the deputy governorship candidate of ZLP, Nasarawa State 2023 elections. So, just before we let you go, we've talked so much about the educational sector. Now, what's your assessment of the election? Quickly, sir. You just concluded elections, because I know you contested as well.
Yes. Okay, thank you for having me back. The just concluded election was an election that exposed a lot of issues in the electoral system of Nigeria. It exposed the issue of sincerity on the part of politicians and the institution set up to become or to serve as umpires. It also has exposed all kinds of malpractices that has been happening in the system. Now, the question is whether Nigeria was at that point where electronic voting system should be accepted. Yes, but that whether we are ready is also another question.
Another question.
We are that. Yes, we are at that time where we need transparency in our electoral system. You know, that is to have what we call electoral reforms. It's not just about having the laws, but also having those laws practicalized. So now, if you look at what happened in the election, the presidential and even the gubernatorial, the presidential election was, an election that never respected the fact that we have taken a new path of having all the results according to what INEC told us, that these results will be
transmitted,
sent to the portal.
Yes.
To the IREP
immediately.
Upon counting and completing the result at the polling units immediately. That's what they use the word. They use a particular term. They said in real time. Hello.
I'm here. We're here. We can hear you, sir.
Oh, okay. They said in real time. But you will agree with me that there were issues here and there. People were trained in just 1 week or two to the election, and then
were brought to conduct the election. Yes.
Were given bad machines to operate. You don't get any good out of such arrangements. So, and then along the line, there were so many issues. Some would say data, some others were deliberate, while some others were the issue of the data, or the issue of what do you call it, the internet landscape of the country. I will agree on that part that we have some of those issues. Sometimes if you are trying to use your phone at home, you know what happens.
That's true.
But it's not enough. You know, when you are bringing up something like this, you prepare for it properly. So,
but we had so many years to prepare for that election with so many funds also approved for that exercise.
That is why I said the election has exposed all the malpractices, all the irregularities, and the insincerity.
Okay, sir. The election had come and go. So what would you say are the lessons to learn out of it?
The lessons to learn is that nobody has the monopoly of winning or rigging. That is one.
Okay.
Two, that you cannot continue to fool a people all the time. You understand?
Okay.
So that Nigerians have woken up, that the people know what they want, and that they will not continue to be ruled or to be led by people who are not qualified to be in certain positions, but are forcing themselves on the citizens. The people who have voted knows what they have voted, and they will insist that what they have voted should be what they will be given. So this cut across all the elections from
national to states. Yes.
The rest. So these are the key takeaways from this very
election.
Just concluded election.
Well,
so, and going forward, INEC should be responsible
enough.
And the judiciary should stand on the path of justice and do the needful where they ought to, or where there are clear issues of rigging or winning.
Well, thank you so very much, sir, for being on the show today, but we have to let you go now. Maybe some other time we're going to have you on electoral issues properly, strictly. But for today, we have to let you go. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Kess,
and yes. Yes, sir. So I've been talking with Comrade Monday Abimoko, a PhD research fellow in Nasarawa State. He's a lecturer as well as the deputy governorship candidate for Zenith Labour Party, Nasarawa State 2023 election. Well, it has been fun ride for me this morning. I'm sure we do this again tomorrow, but that message was loud and clear to INEC, to the judiciary, and of course to Nigerians. Do well to stay safe while you are out there, and of course, be at alert. I remain yours truly, Princess KESSY.
And I am Patience OKOSUN.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital